So with pistol braces back on the menu, I kind of wanted to showcase some of my AR pistol builds that I haven't shown in a while, and I've never shown this one. Now I've made this video a couple of times, and I figured just go ahead and kind of simplify things a little bit more, as my videos can be a little bit longer than most people's. But I like long form content. It's kind of what I do, but I always like to be thorough on my builds, and kind of there's always a reason why I pick the parts that I do, and I like to go over those. And technically, this build isn't all the way done. The only thing I'm really going to change out on this is going to be the optic and maybe some small parts. But those small parts are basically just because of the color, not because of any sort of particular function or feature of that part. But this is a 10.3-inch 300 Blackout, colored in FDE. And I think it's a good looking rifle system, or good looking carbine. Reason why I picked 300 Blackouts, because I've had 300 Blackouts before, and it's a very versatile cartridge. The more I'm understanding about about firearms just in general, the more and more that I really do like 300 Blackout. Let's go ahead and show that the weapon system is clear. It is a loaded magazine, but there is nothing in the chamber. Some people ask me why I show safe handling skills. You know, they say it's not their house. They don't care if I ND, which is fair, right? And even if I did ND, I'm not one of those idiots who would probably upload it to the internet. But I don't ND, and I don't know. If you follow the 4 firearm safety rules, even if you have a loaded magazine, a loaded chamber, and the weapon's off safe, it shouldn't go off by itself without someone going bang. So just kind of keep that in mind. If loaded firearms make you nervous, especially for other people that handle loaded firearms, you should probably get more comfortable around loaded firearms. I'm not saying become complacent in the way that you handle loaded firearms, or you shouldn't be aware or careful when handling firearms, loaded or unloaded. You absolutely should. That's why you should follow the 4 firearm rules of safety. But with that said, follow the 4 firearm rules of safety, and none of this is going to be an issue, even if it's loaded, chambered, off safe, whatever. Again, 300 Blackout. I just kind of wanted to show the difference between some cartridge sizes. You got 300 Blackout here. These are, what are these? 110 grain VMAX. These are 5.56. Was it 50 grain VMAX? And I'm not sure what these are. These are probably something like 125 grain 7.62 by 39. For those of you that don't know, you got 7.62 by 39, which is your Con Black Russian standard AK-47 cartridge, and then this is 7.62 by 45, I believe. So it's dimensionally it's supposed to be a little bit bigger. I think dimensionally on paper it's supposed to be bigger, but these look a little bit smaller. Obviously, your grain of your actual bullet's going to depend on the actual cartridge size. And another thing to keep in mind is either buy 300 Blackout magazines. I highly recommend Lancer for their 300 Blackout. These have run very well for me. And if you want, you could just buy a 300 Blackout follower and put it in a 5.56. Some 5.56 magazines will work just fine with 300 Blackout, depending on what bullet weight you're shooting and stuff. But I would recommend just buying dedicated 300 Blackout magazines. And I do, especially if you have 5.56 chambered weapon systems that use standard AR mags. Get something that differentiates your 300 Blackout from your 5.56, other than just the cartridge. With me, not only does it say 300 Blackout, but this is the only Lancer mag that I have that has an FDE follower on the bottom. So that's kind of what helps me differentiate my 300 Blackout mags from my 5.56 mags, because as you can see, it's basically the same magazine. And you don't ever want to put a 300 Blackout in your 5.56. That's going to be a very bad day for you if you decide to pull the trigger while that's in there. So now that I kind of have that little disclosure over with, another disclosure is I bought all these parts with my own money. Nothing was sent to me. No one's paid me to say anything. No one's giving me free ammo. I just a regular dude, buy shit on the internet just like everyone else, and I make videos on it. So that's my little shtick right there. And let's get right into the build after about 5 minutes. So I'll go from tip to butt. And on the tip, I have an ASR 3-prong flash hider. This is a silencer co-suppressor host, and I'm getting into suppressors. I've got an RC2 on the way, at least it's an NFA jail, and I do. It's been suggested to me to buy dedicated suppressors based on the cartridge. So my RC2 is a 5.56. I'll probably buy a silencer co 30 cal can just because I bought this suppressor host, and I'll probably buy like a dedicated 9mm can and stuff. So this is my first endeavor into silencer co suppressor host, but this is probably the cheapest suppressor host you can buy on the market. This was only $70, whereas like your JMac custom suppressor hosts, those are going to, and that's chemo or dead air compatible. That's going to be like 100 to 125. Your Surefire devices are like 150. So you can get a regular flash hider, and honestly, an A2 birdcage will work just fine for this. I just wanted something just that stuck out a little bit more. And with this being 300 Blackout, I definitely wanted to suppress it at some point down the road. So that was my plan with it. And that's why I picked the ASR, not because I think it was the best, but because it was the cheapest, and I have not tried ASR out. You can see the prongs on it aren't even, and I think they did that on purpose. This does not ring like other 3-prongs will, but these are also a little bit shorter than, like, let's say a Surefire war comp, but a war comp's going to have your ports on the top, which adds a little bit of length. Looks pretty well designed and stuff. The thing I would worry about are these threads when you don't have a suppressor on it, as if this drops on the ground and stuff. It could mess up the threads, which could mess up how your suppressor mounts to this host. So I'm not sure how I like outside the threads suppressor host as opposed to like a labyrinth seal suppressor host and stuff. So yeah, that's my spiel on muzzle devices and suppressor hosts. With the flashlight system, I picked the Cloud Defensive Rein 3.0 Micro. It's probably the brightest micro light on the market. I believe it's 95,000 candela with an 18350 battery. It's got 1250 lumens, so the lumen output is pretty good, especially for the candela rating. People either can do a lot of output candela or a lot of output of lumens. It's very rare that you'll see a good mixture of both. The runtime on this is somewhere between 35 and 45 minutes with a full 18350 battery. I do believe you have to use unprotected battery tops for this. I do not believe the Mod Light batteries will work for this. So there's only specific 18350 batteries you can use for the Cloud Rein 3.0, and obviously it is not compatible with a CR123. So I got this in FDE, as you can see, and this is not the smallest micro on the market. In fact, this is only just a little bit shorter than an 18650 Mod Light, a full-size Mod Light. So when you consider that, it's really not that micro. If you want the smallest micro light on the market, go with Mod Light. Mod Light probably is only that big. It probably only goes down to these to this beveling right here. So Mod Lights are very, very small lights if you're looking for like the smallest light, but then you're only going to get like, was it 69,000 candela of your OKW with like 600 lumens, or you've the 54,000 candela and like what is it, like 1200 lumens out of their PLH V2. So this outputs more lumens and more candela out of a larger light. You know what I mean? So pick and choose your poison. You can't go wrong with either Mod Light or Cloud Defensive. Until recently, Surefire kind of was dated, but their Turbo series seems to be good. I do like how Cloud Defensive adds a colored pressure pad. I'm not sure if they do this with their OD green versions, but at least they give you a nice FDE pressure pad. And since this is so it's a shorter weapon system, when I grip it, I'm almost kind of at the end of the handguard. So I like to put the momentary in the front and the constant on in the back. And then if I really still wanted to, I can kind of wrap my fingers around here and still manipulate the tail cap, which I really like. In Cloud Defensive, they've designed this in a way if the wire gets cut or something like that, it's completely independent from the actual flashlight system and the electronics in the flashlight. So you can still run your tail cap, which I think is a very, very nice feature. And then Cloud Defensive also included they instead of the standard Picatinny mount, which I think I have one right here. Yeah, this one right here. This is what they normally include, which I'm glad they include a mount at least, but I don't like the Picatinny mounts. They actually included a inline mlok mount for this, which was like a $40 accessory. They included that with the light this time. I don't know if that was a mistake, but I'm happy about it. But even though they gave me that mount, I didn't want to mount this forward just yet. I'll probably mount this light a little bit forward once I get a suppressor on this. And so I just used a Arisaka mlok offset on this, and Arisaka makes some very good mounts. I'll probably get that in FDE down the road, just because. But it's mainly more for aesthetics and a complete waste of money because this black offset works just fine. So nothing wrong with that at all. And then True North Concepts hand stop. I don't know which exactly you call it. True North Concepts hand stop. This is the metal version. A little bit larger than I thought it would be, but I do like it's got two screws for the mlok. Some of these hand stops only use one. I was using a JMac Customs one, and I actually really, really liked the JMac Customs little hand stop. It was a little bit lower in profile. I like the design of it better. I like the way that it felt a little bit more when I pulled it into my shoulder. You know, whereas this is definitely a little bit bigger. I'm getting used to this, but I probably would have gone with the K version. So you can see how large that is. Still doesn't look bad, but still, I would have stuck with that JMac Customs one. Or I really do like the Emissary Development handbrakes, even though the Emissary Development handbrakes are much larger. I like the feel of them a little bit better. And I usually go with polymer, not because I'm trying to cheap out, but from my experience, when you barricade these and stuff, the metal starts to chip, gets sharp and stuff, whereas the polymer, it usually gets a little bit smoother and stuff. And you can always sand down the sharp edges and stuff. The polymer is going to wear down a little bit more and a little bit faster than aluminum, but the polymer is going to be cheaper and easier to replace down the road. So anyway, put some Magpul mlok covers on here because I had them, right? And it just gives me a little bit more grip. These are sandpapery type grips, but as you can see, like all the FDE just kind of doesn't match, but it doesn't bother me all that much. And then the barrel that I'm using in this is a Ballistic Advantage 10.3 with a pistol length gas system. And don't know the gas port sizing on this, but I've shot supers and subs out of this Winchester. The only thing I've shot out of this, and it's cycled both of them just fine. I don't know. It's been a little while since I shot it, and I'm kind of waiting on my optic before I take this back out to the range. But I can't tell you if it's over gas or not. I would suspect that it is. Ballistic Advantage usually over gases their barrels, and then it's just a Aero Precision gas block with an Aero Precision gas tube. Again, that is pistol length. And then the handguard and upper, I actually purchased from a company called Grid Defense, which is a local Florida company to me. They're over, I believe, somewhere like maybe in Daytona Beach or something, so it's not that far. Forged upper and the handguard, it was, I want to say it was like $120, $130 for a stripped upper, and it wasn't stripped, I'm sorry. It was a complete upper, had the ejection port cover, the forward assist, and this very simple just handguard. You know, it's just kind of an old school barrel nut design, and it's just kind of this kind of clamps on here. I haven't had any issues with it, but the reason why I picked it was cheap. It had 7-sided mlok, and I kind of bought the upper when I bought it about a year and a half ago, before I got into most of the tools that I have and got a lot more knowledgeable. I've gotten a lot more knowledgeable in building AR-15s in the past year than I have probably in my entire lifetime. So I've learned more in this last year ever. So bought a cheap handguard, cheap upper. It seemed to work. Don't know who they get their uppers from, but you could see the forging mark on it. But again, it's just regular forged upper. Haven't had any issues with it. The cerakote seems to work just fine, or hold up just fine to just normal wear and tear use. And then I did throw on this Hollow Sun Ames, but I am waiting on a Romeo 8T, because I was going to throw this Ames on this particular build, but this build is turning out to be a pain in my ass, just because I got the. I'll go over this one real quick. Bought the front sight base for this. That's how it's going to line up, right? But I'm going to have to machine off. I don't know why they designed this way. They say they designed this for a front sight base, but I'm going to have to cut off that portion on the bottom of the front sight base in order to get this on. So I got a superlative arms gas block too that I might just throw on this and just make it an adjustable 13.9 inch build and stuff. So this one's giving me a little bit of headache, but I did put this one on the back burner so I could finish this 300 Blackout, since the price of 5.56 went up considerably. And I just kind of wanted to try out the Hollow Sun Aim, see how I like the glass, see how I like the clarity. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you what it looks like. I've got this camera too far down. Glass seems relatively clear. The one times there's a little bit of magnification ring around the lens and stuff. Not real obvious or anything, doesn't bother me, but it is noticeable. It has an auto on. This is just the core version, so this is actually made out of 6061. The regular Ames version is going to be made out of 7075. Has these flip caps. These do not have the flip caps, and it has the adjustable reticle in the solar panel, whereas this is just a 2 MOA dot. I picked this up for $250 a few weeks ago. I've always been intrigued by these, but I tried to shoot red dots a little bit more rather than LPVOs, especially on shorter weapon systems. I think red dots and holographics work better. I was kind of on the fence on getting a EOTech EXPS3 and obviously in TAN or FDE, whatever you want to call it, or the Romeo 8T. I went ahead and went with the Romeo 8T because I like the battery life. It's not holographic. It looks extremely overbuilt and well made. I like the mount on it. It's got like a titanium shroud. It's got an insane amount of battery life. I think they state it's got like 100 or 120,000 hours of battery life for the CR123. Looks like a very good red dot, but it's a heavy red dot. I think it weighs something like 13 or 14 ounces, which is kind of insane for a red dot, where like this probably weighs like 5 or 6 ounces with the mount, something like that. So that's what I'm waiting for, is the Romeo 8T. But I think red dots on shorter weapon systems are a better go than putting like a 1 to 6 LPVO on this thing, or even like a magnifier. I have a magnifier on my 11.85 inch PWS, but I like to take the magnifier off for the most part, just because I'm mostly running that weapon system with a plate carrier. I kind of have this one set up for a plate carrier. That's why you see it. You see the brace so far in, so my length of pull isn't going to be so much, because when I have, when I have armor on, right, it's going to be just kind of a regular length of pull. And plus the Law Tactical adds length of pull already. So That's just my thinking behind the weapon system. It works for me. That's why you see most of my shorter weapon systems, I'll have the brace or the stock pushed in all the way for a shorter length of pull. It's because I'm normally running these weapon systems with body armor or a chest rig. And you always see me run holographics or red dots. All right, so let's get to the lower, and I'll go ahead and I'll just take off this upper from the lower just so I get a little bit closer look for you guys. The lower itself is just a regular Aero Precision X15 FDE lower. These have worked great for me, but I bought it because it was already cerakoted in FDE, and some people have mentioned that Aero Precision's FDE can be quite thick, but I have not noticed that at all with this particular model. So the cerakoting seems fine. It actually seems to match the grid defensive cerakote quite well. I got just regular mil-spec pivot and takedown pins. A mil-spec bolt catch with Magpul BAD lever. This was an extra bolt catch that obviously I had laying around. That's why it's all chipped and mangled a little bit. This is a Fortis magazine release button, and as you can see, it's not quite FDE, but it's anodized FDE as opposed to cerakoted FDE, so it does look a little bit different. I got a mil-spec magazine button. That's the magazine catch. I have a mil-spec S-type trigger. It is not a cartridge style. It is from Hiperfire. Radian Talon safety with a 45-degree throw instead of the 90. You can switch it to a 90 if that is your jam. Magpul K2 Plus grip. And then I don't know what this trigger guard is. It's a polymer trigger guard, but I've got an Aero Precision billet FDE trigger guard. I just been lazy and decided not to punch it out just yet. So I'm still planning on doing that though. And the only thing I would change out on this lower receiver, I might change out the pivot and takedown pins to an FDE at some point. I might get an FDE forward assist just because. I might get an FDE receiver extension. I might get an FDE end plate. And I might get an FDE magazine button and Arisaka mount. But those are just only because I wanted to make this a full FDE build because my Romeo 8T is going to be an FDE. I want this all FDE, minus the Magpul BAD lever and the trigger. So I don't see a whole lot of full FDE builds, you know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to do that. Let's ghost this trigger because most people know that I like two-stage triggers. This is a single stage. This is a Hiperfire EDT sharpshooter. It's got a super nice reset. I like the reset on that. You can see it's got just a little bit of creep there, and it's got a nice crisp break. This was about a $65 trigger, so it's not bad for a cheap trigger, but your enhanced mil-spec S-type triggers are going to be around the $50 to $60 mark, so I think it's fair. I've seen these go all the way up to 85. Don't know if they're quite worth 85, but I like Hiperfire products. I like their triggers at least. It seems to be a decent trigger. I don't dislike this enough to change it, but it isn't my favorite trigger by any means. I put a Sharps, I didn't show that, did I? A Sharps Rifle Company BCG in this. I gotta do this all over again. Sharps Rifle Company bolt carrier group. You see me running a lot of Sharps Rifle Company. This is DLC FDE with a just a standard DLC bolt face. I quite like Sharps Rifle Company, but it's more of a gold than it is FDE, right? Like it doesn't quite match the anodized FDE. That's anodized FDE too. So this DLC just looks just a little bit different than everything else. I've noticed that other people have said that it looks more gold than it does FDE as well. BCO makes FDE. I've got a Microbest bolt carrier group. In fact, I'm not going to run and get that. That's in the other room. So the microbest definitely looks gold, where this looks more FDE than the microbest FDE DLC. And then I've just got a Radian Raptor charging handle with FDE. Log Tactical. This is DLC FDE. And the reason why I put Log Tactical on this is because I kind of want to leave this as a backpack gun. This fits in in my regular backpack that I can carry around, and that the one that I showcased on my my battle kit video that I just did recently, with the plate and with this gun, it all fits together, you know. So that was kind of my thinking behind this particular setup and stuff. So figured I'd throw this in a backpack and see if I can. I'll probably like get some hook and loop straps just so this isn't just rattling around in my backpack, but it does fit in the backpack quite well. It's a little tight in places, but it fits. That's all that really matters. So Log Tactical, so I could fold it and put it into a backpack. I quite like law folders. Some people don't. They're a little bit expensive for what they are. This is an H3 buffer with a Springco extra power spring, but I do have a Geisley H1 and a Geisley H3 Super 42 if this doesn't work. I don't have an H2 laying around, but I just have H3s and H1s for whatever reason. So I'm going to see how that cycles that 110 grain VMAX. And then, don't know who makes the capsule nut. I had it for a while, but this is a flat dark earth capsule nut, mil-spec end plate with no QD on it. It is not staked. I know you can roast me all you want for that. And then I just got a regular mil-spec receiver extension or buffer tube with an SBA4 brace on this. So yeah, that's my 300 Blackout 10.3 inch AR pistol. Fits in a backpack. Still rating, like I said, on. Haven't bought a suppressor for it, but I will. And then Romeo 8T and just some small parts and stuff. So other than that, it's a build. It's a full build. I think it looks good. I think it's a cool build. I know I'm not everyone's flavor as far as what they do to the ARs, but I quite like the my ARs and what I do to them. But they're mine. So if you have any questions about any of the parts or anything, you could always comment them. I do have an Instagram. My Instagram is 2A Michael J. So you can direct message me if you really want to know something. And I don't link anything because I'm not sponsored, but I am willing to help you if you're looking to purchase some of these items and you're looking to save a little bit of money. They're not my coupon codes, or sometimes you may have to wait for an actual sale, but I am willing to at least guide you in the right direction in order to find some of these parts, because I did not pay retail for any of these parts, but it's not because I'm a dealer, it's not because I'm sponsored or anything, it's just because I'm a smart shopper. And I think in today's financial age, it's smart to buy smart. I try not to pay retail for anything. Like I said, if you can save money on a little bit of everything, it adds up over time. And then I factor in everything. I factor in shipping. I factor in tax. Some people don't factor in tax and shipping. I do. It's not just the price of the item, because sometimes if you buy an item but you get free shipping and they don't charge sales tax, sometimes that item ends up being cheaper than the item on another website that they say is on sale, but they're charging you $12 for shipping and they're charging you, 7 or 8% tax on $800 in items. That shit adds up. So just some things to keep in mind. So there's definitely some things you can cheap out on. From my understanding, I haven't seen these on Amazon recently, and I'm all about supporting like SB Tactical and stuff. But man, I've had friends buy the cheap Amazon like SBA4 and SBA3 braces. They're decent for the money, and they're not freaking $100 or $120. So I get it if you want to cheap out and stuff. This is a regular SB Tactical. Like, this is not a knockoff, but I honestly couldn't distinguish the fake from the real one. If that makes you really think about how these are manufactured. Again, I'm all about supporting SB Tactical and their fight against the NFA and the ATF and the whole brace debacle and stuff. But let's be honest, guys, $100 and $120 for a brace, it's kind of ridiculous. It is kind of ridiculous. Like a Magpul CTR stock is what, like $30, $40. You know what I mean? A B5 system stock is like $40. Like a nice, like super nice Magpul SLS or what was it, the ACS stock, those are only like $60 to $70 depending on where you get them. And then my PRS stock, my UBR stock was cheaper than a SB Tactical brace, you know, and this has much more rattle on it. I mean, it's uncomfortable. Like, this thing falls apart. This elastic just, you know, the hook and loop comes undone and gets all grimy and nasty and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they're a little expensive. They're a little expensive for what they are. And I get, like, they're need the money for the fight and stuff, but like, people out here struggling, man. You know, like SB Tactical, if you sold these for $80, like, I think more people would buy them, you know, and I think in the long run, you'd actually make more money selling these for a little bit cheaper price than your like $129 MSRP brace. You can get them for $100, but still $100 for a brace? It's a lot of money, guys. Anyway, that's my little rant on braces. But like I said, I appreciate any of the supporters, any comments, any likes, any views. I don't do this for it. I just do this because I enjoy doing it. I'm going to get on my soapbox again. When YouTubers say they couldn't do this without your patronage on Patreon and Rumble and stuff like that, they're absolutely lying to you. They really can. Because here's the thing, guys, right? If I didn't make YouTube videos, I'd still be doing exactly what I'm doing, except not making videos about it. I still be buying the products and going to the range. I have a feeling those guys would too. In fact, it makes it easier for them because most of the parts that they've got for their almost most recent builds, they get for free. Like, they get all their parts for free, all their optics for free, all their flashlights for free, all their magazines for free, all their ammunition for free, but yet they're petitioning you for handouts and stuff, where they're trying to tell you that they wouldn't be able to create content for you to watch without you paying for it, more or less. And I think that's absolute horseshit. Because again, if I didn't do YouTube, I'd still be buying all the same stuff that I do. The only difference would be is that I wouldn't be posting my firearms online, and I'd have a little bit more free time because I wouldn't be making videos about it. But I've that's kind of always rubbed me the wrong way when a gun tuber or a YouTuber says that sort of thing. Because if you truly just have a passion for something and just want to do it, you can do it. You don't have to be monetized. You don't have to be sponsored. You don't have to get ad revenue. It just makes things a lot simpler. Like, it's great that you can make a living off of something that you enjoy doing, and I encourage everyone to find something that they can do for a living that they enjoy doing. But I'll just keep my regular job and do this shit for fun. You know what I mean? If someone wants to send me ammo, that's probably about the only thing that I would do in order to test some of these products out a little bit better. But that's the only shilling that I want to do is ammo shilling. I need freaking ammo, you know. I can't ever get enough ammo, but that's it. I don't even want your optics or anything, you know. I'll just buy it, and if I think it's good, great. If I don't, it's going to sit in a part drawer. Not to say that this is bad by any means, because I did have this mounted on here, but it's not as good as this, you know. If I could buy this over again, I wouldn't. I'd spend my money on a different optic. Not to say that I dislike Vortex or dislike the Spark AR. It's just there are better options out there for the money. I've got a little buyer's remorse for this. I bought it mainly because it's FDE and it took a AAA battery. But again, I'd rather have a Romeo 5. in FDE if I was looking for the FDE. And the Romeo 5 in FDE is cheaper than this. Vortex has got a better warranty, however, and the AAA battery is kind of nice, but the refresh rate sucks on this, and that's really my main gripe with this optic is the refresh rate. So it's stuff like that, you know what I mean? But if this was absolutely sent to me for free, I'd say it's a good product. You know why? Because I don't have any dog in the fight. My money's not at stake. I don't have any buyer's remorse. Like if I could say subjectively this is a good product, but when I put my own hard-earned money into this, I wish I would have bought something else, if I'm being honest. Like, yeah, it's a good optic, great warranty, great company, just in general. It's not a bad buy, but there's better stuff out there, at least that fit my needs. And just remember when your favorite gun tuber tells you about the latest and greatest whiz bang and stuff, they got it for free, and it probably is a great product, but they don't have any dog in the fight. Like they don't have any money invested into it. They have a working relationship with that company. Anyway, I mean, I could go on a rant about gun tubers, and I like gun tubers. I want to support gun tubers, but sometimes the things in the industry bother me. You know what I mean? I have to call it out for what it is. Not that I'm trying to create drama or anything, but when I see something that I just got to speak out when I see something that I personally don't like, and I just don't like it. But that's my personal take, a personal opinion. You can agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. We're all entitled to our own opinions and stuff. And you're entitled to your own parts and stuff. You don't have to choose the parts that I choose. A lot of people don't, for the most part. I am very unique. I am a unique and special snowflake when it comes to my AR builds, but I think it's cool. I think it's a cool AR. I think if you can afford it, buy a 300 Blackout. I would buy an 8-inch over a 10-inch. You still get the full powder burn and full velocity out of it if you're looking for a nice little compact weapon system. But a 300 Blackout definitely makes a better compact weapon system than a 5.56 in the same length. So just kind of keep that in mind. 300 Blackout, very cool. I like this build. Thanks for watching.